Well, we have tried to understand what's equal reality in various perspectives, different dimensions of life, and today we have an interesting topic. And what we are about to discuss here is something which happens to us all the time. Focused distractions. Immediately, it looks like two opposite words are being put together, and we must be wondering what this is. So, before we get into that, let's look at a typical situation. And this, in fact, one boy was talking about this as something which happens to him often. So, he was about to have his exams, I think 10-15 days from that day when he was meeting, and then he said, I started to study, and hardly 10-15 minutes later, there was a phone, and I couldn't stop myself. I went across, picked up the phone, and I started talking. I didn't realize time going by. And when I came back and started to study, I looked at the time and 15 minutes had gone. I said, oh my God, I lost 15 minutes. Then I continued studying. Somehow brought attention into my studies. But a little later, there was someone calling from the gate. I couldn't resist. And I went again. And so on and so forth. I think surely we all can relate. A TV program, a friend calling, maybe a message, whatever, we get distracted. And that which we wanted to do, that which we set out for, is almost forgotten. So we now consider that, or we are labeled as people who are distracted, who lack attention. And also, I start to believe somewhere inside me that I don't have focus. I get distracted too easily. And the way I start to see from that moment on is that I am a distracted fellow. So, back to our pause button and trying to look at equal reality. Okay, surely all of us have some areas of interest, some things which we love doing. Let's take some examples. So in my case, I love listening to songs. Somebody will say, I love playing the guitar. Someone says, I love playing football. Yet another would say, I love to play gaming, right? Let's walk through our state of mind in those situations. So let's say I've taken the guitar and I've started to play the guitar. I'm very passionate about playing guitar, let's say, right? And in that process, when I am going through that, if there's a call, what do? Important, pause and reflect. I'm very passionate. So it's the same for a football. I'm very passionately playing football. Somebody is calling me. What happens? Do I get distracted? It's an important question. And my understanding is no. Something the moment I love, the moment I'm passionate about it, I do not get distracted. I in fact continue to do what I am doing till the time I have that passion for it or that energy continues in it. So anyone can call me during this period and it falls into deaf ears, as they say. So there's no attention to anything other than that which I am doing. So now, in this understanding, can I really label myself as a distracted fellow? I'm a guy who will get distracted all the time. No, the equal reality, we have just seen that there are so many things that when I do not get distracted, and indeed it's the other way around. I'm extremely focused. I'm sure it makes sense if we really pause, reflect, pick up at least 10-20 areas where even on the same very day when I said I got distracted 5 times, there must have been 25 things where I did not get distracted. This will be an interesting discovery. Please do take a pen and paper and write down, because then that reflection will give the clarity that I have it in me to stay focused. I have the ability to focus when I choose to. And there's a little secret here. The secret would perhaps be this, that when I love something, the focus automatically comes. All I need to do is, suppose I want to set out doing this particular thing, maybe it is studying too. So let's take a look at even in studies. I might say I when I start going into chemistry, I get distracted. If we go deeper into it, I might realize that I've already set up my mind that chemistry is a subject I don't like. Let's take a look at probably math. Some of us love math maybe. And I would realize that whenever I do math, I'm fully focused. So probably the realization will be that I can focus when I do not have anything, rejecting or rebelling against a particular subject. I'm able to go deeper into it, focus on it, and actually get the result that I want. Alright, so maybe we should now look at the way forward for us. Having seen that we have it in us to focus when we want to, we should see how can we do it. And for this, I feel like sharing my own life experience. The time when I used to study for my CA. Now, CA very voluminous, lot of studies to do, lot of subjects, plenty of portions. So I had a very simple way of handling this, and I decided first of all that I need to know how much time I need to study every day. So in my case, it was, I think if I recall, 14 hours. So 14 hours I need to make sure I study every day. So I simply made a timetable by having slots of 2 hours or 2.5 hours at a time. And then by end of the day, I would have done my 14 hours. And then there were these gaps in between, right? Maybe the gaps were half an hour or 1 hour intermittently. And what I did was, in each of those gaps, besides the usual sleeping, of course, has to happen, the eating has to happen, and my getting ready, getting fresh, having bath kind of stuff has to happen. I used to fit in things which I really loved doing, things which I really passionate about, and for me, one of the biggest things is music. I would ensure that I listen to a lot of music. I would probably read up something else, casual read, or I would just play with my friends in the evening time. And what made this probably work for me was that I would take these breaks very seriously. Think about it, taking breaks seriously. Again, it looks like confusing. No. If I would listen to songs in that half an hour, come what may, I would do only that. Now, one might typically say listening to songs is a distraction. What I think worked for me was I would be focused in that distraction. I would be so full in that half an hour that after that I was probably rejuvenated. And when I took my book, I was fresh and willing to go. So the secret probably which worked for me is that I took each of my slots seriously and fully, that I was so engaged in my distraction, so full and so focused in it, that I could focus on my studies also thereafter. And this way, day after day, I would just be relentless. There was no question about compromising on the study hours, as much as there would be no question of compromising on my breaks. So all of us have our own passion areas, our own interest areas. We can choose what we want to do in those breaks and do that completely. This may work. It worked for me. I'm sitting and talking to you. I'm sure it can work for you too. We would be happy to listen to you. If you would like to reach out to us, offer any suggestions or feedback, please do write to us at dcare@diksha.learning.com. Have a blessed time ahead. Hit the pause button, experience equal reality, and have a wonderful life.